What's going on, everybody? I'm Kevin from Cigar Prop, and it is another Tech Tip Sunday. I'm actually outside because it is a beautiful, beautiful sunny morning. Sunday morning. It's not sunny yet. Well, I mean, it's sunny because there's light out, but it is just a beautiful, beautiful morning here on the Gulf Coast of Florida. Powered by Monster Rehab as usual. I finally found the new green tea. I've been looking everywhere for it, and then I came across a new one, the wild berry tea as well. I'm only going to open up one now. We'll open up save the other one for next week. So super excited. We're gonna get to the tech tip, but everyone says this is really good, and I would like this. I hate green tea. I like this. I like this. This won't replace my regular lemonade tea. This will be in addition to it. That is absolutely, absolutely fantastic. If you have elderly parents, elderly neighbors, take their car in for them if they say, hey, I'm going to get an oil change tomorrow. Maybe go with them, or tell them. Neighbor, everybody knows my neighbor Peanut. Peanut, do not buy anything. Please call me if they recommend anything, or just say I got to check with my son, and then bring me the invoice afterwards, because there are places that we all know that take advantage of the elderly, but there's also, I'm just going to start off with a story. So we had a gentleman in. I'm at the computer, like I said, because in my shop I do everything: work on cars, write people up, bring people up, order parts, everything like that. So I hear one of the salesmen talking to one of our regulars. And I'm on the computer doing my thing, and he tells him that the technician found some his struts that were leaking on the front, starting to see a little bit of tire wear due to the struts, and he needed to have those replaced. And it was like $1,800, for struts, because they come complete struts now, the spring and the bearings and everything else. And the old man Jack's like, yeah, I guess if they need to be done. And I'm listening to this, and I go, Jack, no. I go, if you were 20 years younger, yeah. I go, what are you, 90? And he goes, I'm 87. And I go, and if this wasn't a regular, I'd be like, how much longer you think you got? And I go, we just put those tires on 2 years ago. I guarantee they're brand new, because you only drive like 100 miles a year. You change your oil just because it's time, and he just started laughing, and I go, honestly, everything he told you was absolutely right. Your struts are leaking. Like I said, they're if it's starting to affect tire wear, I go, let me go out and take a look at it. So I went out, take a look, come back, and I go, yeah, you've got a little bit of tire wear. I go, but for the amount you drive it, I go, no. I go, we're not spending $1,800 on your car today. I go, let's do your oil change, and then you just come back and see me next year. And then he does come in with his neighbor, because he gets out, so we'll actually see him a lot more often, because he's a funny old man. But yeah, and the salesman's like just looking at me, and he's kind of newer and to our store anyways, and I'm like, you just gotta, you gotta look at the history, you gotta look at each situation, and yeah, like, and I didn't say it in front of Jack, but when afterwards, I'm like, guy's gonna be dead before he wears out those tires. There's not a chance in hell that he's ever gonna experience ride quality because of those struts. And then another vehicle I work on, it gets towed in, and brake pedal goes to the floor. So do my inspection. Found a brake line. Car was from Ohio, and it was like I don't know what it was, a Buick LeSabre, Chevy Impala, something like that, on the new body styles, whatever. And found a rusty brake line, and it popped a pinhole in it. So as I'm doing my inspection, you know, I see the front brake calipers, just a mass of rust, and the bleeders are almost gone. That's how much rust, you know, is gone, and rust coating the rotors. I don't know how this person, older gentleman, I didn't ask his age, but if I had to guess, probably in his 70s, you know, how long he's been driving it from Ohio down here. And so I call him up and I go, yeah, it's a brake line that's leaking, but it's everything that has to do with that brake line. I go, I'll never bleed the brakes. So you're going to have to replace both calipers to get all the air out of the system after opening it up. You know, your rotors are rusted solid front and rear. You're not stopping efficiently. So I quote everything out and I go, it's $2,000 because of this rusty brake line. And he's like, well, if that's the night, I go, let me stop you right there. It's not worth it. I go, please don't fix this car. I go, please don't make me put these parts in your car. And he's like, what do you mean? I go, the car is worthless. I go, it is rusted solid underneath everywhere. I go, I'm going to put you're going to put $2,000 into this today. And I go, I guarantee you will be back once a month for the rest of the year or going into next year and replacing brake lines. I go, because when one breaks, it puts pressure on the system, and we're going to be patching brake lines every time you come in. It's going to be $200 or $300, and it's not worth it. The car is literally falling apart. I go, when I raised it up, I go, there was rust pouring out from where the lift contact points. I go, the car's falling apart. You need to get rid of it. He goes, well, if I'm going to sell it, I need to fix it. And I go, you're going to put $2,000 into a car that's worth $2,000. I go, so you're going to fix it just to sell it for the same amount of money that you fixed it for? I go, that doesn't make any sense. I go, call up the junkyard down the road. They'll give you $300 or $400 for it, and then now you're ahead. And he goes, well, I don't know what to do. And I go, you need to think about it. I go, because the car's not worth it. I go, I don't want to take your money and you have you put all this into it. And so he had it towed out of there, and I don't know what he's going to do with it. I hope he doesn't take it somewhere that is going to just fix that brake line. Can you get away with not bleeding it? If you did it fast enough, you know, the rear calipers, you know, the bleeders were still good, you could probably get that brake line done and get a decent pedal, maybe take the banjo bolts off the calipers, bleed it that way. There are ways around it, but the car wasn't worth it. Yeah, but anywhere else, you know, if he didn't get me, you know, yeah, I mean, he was ready to put $2,000 into this car. So there's two situations where the person got well, the first situation is not like he got a dishonest person. You just got a salesman that's doing his job and informing the customer of the things that are wrong with his car, and then letting the customer make that decision. But sometimes we have to make that decision for the customer. Sometimes that doesn't sound right, but sometimes it is. Sometimes the customer needs help, you know, especially when they're a little bit older, and maybe they don't know as much, or that maybe they don't understand. So if you have, like I said, parents, if you have grandparents, if you have neighbors, just kind of keep an eye out for them. You know, like I say, if I heard Peanut, you know, hey, I'm taking my car in tomorrow, get the oil change, you know, because he's not going to bring it all the way to my shop for an oil change. He's going to go locally here. I put tires on it, and I'll take it to work with me and do the brakes and stuff like that. But yeah, he's 84 now, 83, and but yeah, it's like don't buy anything. Don't buy anything. An air filter, nothing. You come home, I'll go over your invoice, you know, and then, you know, and help you out and figure out, you know, what you need and maybe what can be put off. But unfortunately, there's a lot less Kevins out there than I would like there to be. And like I said, it's not people taking advantage for the most part. 99% of the time, it's not people taking advantage. They're just doing their jobs. And yeah. All right. Monster green tea. We're going to try this one next week. See you then.